Next critical point is, after you do the user acceptance test, then you need to go ahead and implement the ERP. So in the implementation of the ERP, you need to ensure the data migration is done right. Data migration is you transfer data from the earlier system to new system. Well, people go wrong, sometimes completely wrong in this area. People will try to outsource this data migration. You need to be extremely careful if you are trying to outsource. Because the person to whom you are going to outsource should be aware the gravity of the information that he or she is transferring from the earlier system to new system. Maybe there's one sheet, name of the customers, profitability. Well, is he, the person who's going to do the transfer, is he really aware how critical this information for the organization is? If yes, it will work. If not, it won't. So you got to ensure your teams are doing the data transfer. At least if you can't get them to do it, they got to supervise the process closely, very closely. Otherwise, you will start a new ERP having data that had not been verified, having data which is not accurate. So data migration needs to be careful. Then you need to implement the system. So when you implement the system, you need to take a decision about whether you're going to have a parallel run or not. You can run, you can have your old system running to some extent, and then you can move to the new system as well. So parallel run will help you to test the new system in the real world, because the UATs are specific tests that you have checked. But when you test the system as overall, when the real users are going to use the system, when the sales people are going to use the system, when the stores people are going to use the system, then you might see some critical issues that had not actually identified at the time of UAT. So it's critical, depending on the complexity of the environment. I do agree, it's critical generally to have a parallel run and compare the results of both. Right? So then you go live. Then is the game of supporting, is the game of post-implementation audit, absolutely critical. Once the implementation is done, you got to do a post-implementation audit and ensure the implementation process went very well. You got to ensure the system documentation, absolutely critical. Most people do not just document anything on their system. It's great till something bad happens. It's great till one fine day you realize the system is not working. So no one knows what had been going through within the system. Maybe the individuals who are doing it are not more in the organization, or they just can't recall what was the decision that was taken at that time for the system issue. So that is the basic principles in completing the ERP implementation. Now, in perspective of management accounting, one thing that you need to be extremely careful is you need to get the finance team involved in the ERP implementation completely. Because they are the people, not only for the finance module, they got to get involved for the other modules to ensure the controls are established. So what I have explained to now is the real world. Now, you need to find a way to put that real world to the examination question that you're going to get on the exam day. It will be easy for you because what the examiner won't see it, nothing else but the real world. What examiner won't see is nothing else but the real world. So on the exam day, examiner might either explain to you how a company has implemented their ERP for you to go and evaluate and say whether it's effective or not. If it's not effective, you need to tell how effectively it should have been done. Or you might get an easy question, where a complete theoretical question, where the examiner will ask you to write how ERP implementation should be done, which is easy. Because it's a memorized theory, you just cut and paste to your answer. The first one that I said would be slightly difficult because it's a real company that is given. That company might have the issue that you haven't had on the textbook. That company might operate slightly differently to the company that was there in your textbook. So you need to be extremely careful about that as well. So don't forget, go through the theory and see how it can be applied for a company. So now, next step in information technology is how you can audit a computer environment. Let's take a break. After the break, let's look at how auditing is done in a computer environment. Thank you very much. Welcome back. So if you try to summarize what we've been doing, we had 2-day session. The first day we look at enterprise risk management, internal control, internal auditing. Second day, what we looked at first was the corporate governance. Then Now we are trying to look at IT controls. In IT controls, we discussed before the break of the basic theory and how the ERP implementation should be working, which is quite a common area for the examination purposes is concerned. Now we'll spend few minutes on auditing a computer environment. The reason why we are going to talk about auditing a computer environment is the basic audit principles would still apply, but the things will be slightly different. Just try to put it to a real world company. Auditor comes in, auditor might say, I want to audit the sales. Okay, you want to audit the sales, we'll give the sales information. The traditional auditor will say, give me all the sales invoices that you have raised for the last year. And the traditional auditor will get that and he will tick one by one, he will check one by one. In a computer environment, whenever you have an ERP, the auditor comes, the auditor will ask for the copies of invoices. The organization will say, I'm sorry, we don't have the copies of invoices. The auditor might ask, how can I see the approval? I want to see the signature of the approval. We don't sign anything. All invoices are approved automatically through our ERP. So, the reason why I gave this example is to show you it's a challenge. It's a different challenge to do the audit in a computer environment. Because you don't have the traditional documentation check to go through in detail and verify whether the company has done the right thing or wrong thing. So, when you try to audit a computer environment, there are two main elements, there are two main processes of auditing. One is, we call it around the system. Other one, we call it through the system. What do you mean by around the system? Around the system means you keep the system as it is, you don't go into the system. You go around the system and check it. How do you do that? You see what information was given into the system, what was taken out, you verify what was given in, you verify what was taken out and check these two and see whether they are matching. So you are not going to touch the system. So this method of around the system is basically done whenever the auditor is not having the technical expertise to go into the system and check it. The next is through the system. You go into the ERP and you see whether ERP is working well. You go into the ERP and see whether ERP is working well. How you do that? Whenever you go into the ERP, there are two things that you need to be checked. One is data. Do we have right data? Do we have right data within the system? Do we have the right processes within the system? Right data, right processes. So both needs to be checked. So I'm not going to go into details of that, but I'll try to tell you how it works in the real world. Always you will see I'll talk about the real world because the examination is about the real world. Examination is not about your textbook. So let's go through what real world is and see how examiner can play with the real world on the exam paper. Right? The real world, we can have test data facility. Test data facility is, we have the ERP running for the real organization. At the same time, we enter certain test data to the organization. They are not real data. And you see how those test data are being treated by the system. You enter certain invoices. They are not the genuine invoices raised by the company. You enter certain invoices and see how system recognize the profit from those invoices, how system recognize the debtors from those invoices, how system reduce the inventory from those invoices. So you enter certain test data and see whether it works perfectly right or not. Now, the danger in entering test data is you need to ensure that test data is actually removed before you take out your final report. Otherwise, you will have higher profit because of the test data as well. So you need to balance it. And the other thing is, one of the other method that you can use to audit a computer system, whenever you call it audit a computer system, what I mean is through the system, is you can have an audit software. Different names can be given, but in simple terms, you can have an audit software. Audit software is, you get one of these large audit firms to come and audit your organization. They will come in, they will take a copy of your database, take that copy and put it to their system. Right? The system, the audit software will go through your database in a minute and it will identify all unusual variances. Now, when I say unusual variances, let me give an example. Let's say the audit system will quickly go through your financials. As an example, rent. So now the system will go through the rent bill for Jan, Feb, March, April up to December. Then the system will report in July, rent bill is 20% higher And again in August, it has come down to the same level as it is. So it has a fixed figure for the entire year except for July. So audit software will report that. So you need to be extremely careful. Advantage is, in a manual environment, auditor would have spent 5 days to identify all these variances. But the system will do it fast for you. So that's why I said, auditing in a computer environment is different. It's not really difficult. It's different challenges. Softwares like audit softwares will actually help you to do the audit faster. But the point that you need to be careful is, just because June rent bill is higher, it doesn't mean that it's wrong. What it means is June rent bill is high, that's all. So you need to go through and see whether there's a valid reason why June rent bill is high. Right? So that's what audit softwares will do. So audit softwares can, either auditors will bring it for the external audit and use it, or you can have a resident audit software. Resident audit software is the auditor is at your place, resident in your system. Resident audit software is included into your system. So he is there all the time looking at the transaction that you record. So whenever he sees something that is recorded which creates a little bit of a doubt, like the rent example, it will report back. It will report back. So these are called the softwares that we use to audit a computer environment. We call them CATs, Computer Aided Audit Techniques. We call them CATs, Computer Aided Audit Techniques. So that's the end of IT controls. So you need to go through this theory part. I do agree with you. If you look at the syllabus, the first part of enterprise risk management, internal auditing, internal control, they are purely practical. They are purely practical. If you know the real world, you pass the exam. But that feature has come down a little bit in the case of IT control. In the case of IT control, if you are done, if you master your theory, you can score high marks as well. So please concentrate more about theory in the areas of corporate governance, in the areas of IT control. That will help you. But of course, you got to have the practical touch, what's happening in a real world company, and you can gain that knowledge from your lecturer, because the lecturers are supposed to talk about what's happening in the real world company, not the theory. Right? Second way to get that knowledge is go to the past papers. Past papers are the real world companies that the examiner has set for you in the history. Go through the real world companies that were set by the examiner. That will help you. Right? So that's the end of IT controls. We'll now move on to the last topic of financial risk management. We'll move into the last topic of financial risk management. This topic is mainly divided into two. In other words, we are trying to look at two main risks within this. One is the foreign exchange risk, other one is the interest rate risk.